Thank you so much for being here. Big news today involving the BIS, CBDCs, the BRICS Bloc Coalition, and the petrodollar. The BIS, the Bank for International Settlements, commonly known as the Central Bank for Central Banks, has been working closely with the BRICS Bloc Coalition, specifically China, to launch a new central bank digital currency CBDC platform. This platform is dubbed Project Bridge. And while it's been in the works for a while, this week there was a new release that caught my attention. Not only because the platform's viable, but because they accepted a fifth full-time member. That member is no one other than Saudi Arabia. Now, the reason why this is so important and so concerning to the US dollar is because Saudi Arabia is, of course, part of OPEC, the oil-producing countries. And Saudi Arabia, in particular, is key to the United States' dominance as having the global reserve currency. What I mean by that is, in 1972, when the United States dollar was delinked from gold, there was an agreement made in the following years that all oil would be priced in USD. Because of this agreement, there is always demand for US dollars because all oil is priced in US dollars. Now, some countries have moved away from this, such as Russia or Iran pricing in different currencies, but ultimately the effect of that has still been minimal. But should a country like Saudi Arabia start pricing their oil in a different currency, say the Chinese yuan, well, now we have a huge problem on our hands because the United States dollar will not be in as high of demand. Now, we don't know for sure if that's going to happen. There has been a lot of speculation for a while, though, because Saudi Arabia has not been quiet on this topic. They have been saying now for months that they are open to and considering other currencies. In the past, this wasn't even a possibility because there really weren't any other currencies that they could have considered. But now, with the BRICS bloc growing stronger, there are other options and their strength in numbers. So specifically with this Project Bridge, one of the reasons why this feels like they're laying the groundwork here is that Bridge does not support US dollars. So now we're going to have Saudi Arabia be part of this project that specifically is intended to facilitate cross-border payments, but it won't be in US dollars. If Saudi Arabia really does decide to make the move away from the US and does support trading oil and pricing oil in other currencies, that would mean again that there would be much less demand for US dollars. The reason why that is so important is because if the demand for US dollars diminishes, then we lose our biggest asset. The United States government's biggest asset, biggest thing that they export are actually US dollars. With the way that the debt is right now, if we continue to see a decline in demand for US dollars and for US debt, then we are going to continue to see rates increase and rapid inflation, the likes of which we've never seen before. I mean, many people have said that ultimately if the petrodollar collapses, the United States dollar collapses and therefore the US. Now, I don't want to sound extreme, but I do think that if the day comes when Saudi Arabia really does make this move away, which at this point it feels more like a win than an if, then we're in serious trouble and we could see an actual currency reset be ushered in. Now, what can we do to protect ourselves? I'll tell you the same thing I tell my friends and family and that I believe in wholeheartedly, which is, of course, to make sure that you're protected outside of the dollar, that you don't have your wealth stored in dollar-denominated assets, because we can feel the temperature rising, the heat is on, and if the dollar starts to crumble even more than it already has, you're going to lose your wealth along with it. And that's not what I want to see. That's why I personally believe in physical, tangible gold and silver to protect yourself. Now, if you have any questions about this or you want to learn more, that's what we're here for. Our team has decades of experience.
Alright, Salaki brothers. Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar, and on down that rule well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. Alright, so I just want to do a short and translate lesson of how alone the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai allows it to go. This is going to be another video concerning the collapse of the US dollar, or the Petro dollar. Alright, Lord Woods brothers can see on the screen. I just played the video, and this video is for fair use purposes only. I'm not using this for any monetary gain. Alright, just for educational purposes only. And the title is just in Saudi joined CBDC project in Bride, which is massive. And you can see the in the picture has the sheikh, or the whatever he calls himself, the king or whatever of Saudi Arabia, one of the kings anyway. And above his head it says end of the Petro dollar. All right, which, you know, there's many ways the Most High could Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, our great powers, the gods of Israel, which you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native and Seminole Indians. All right, there's many ways that you know, they could collapse this dollar, but I mean, one of the top reasons, all right, would be the end of the petrodollar. But again, there's many ways. You know, Esau could declare some disease or something like they tried the first time with the C-19. They could try to play that hand again and claim that you know, the disease is spreading through the cash, and we got to get the cash out of the way. Push cash out of the way immediately because it's spreading through cash and debit cards and credit cards or whatever, physical cash. All right, or they could just collapse, allow the petrodollar to collapse. All right, which would basically mean that Saudi Arabia, that process has already started. Saudi Arabia would no longer accept U.S. dollars, which they're now they're actually accepting other currencies outside of the U.S. dollar for the purchase of their oil. All right. And on top of that, all them oil-rich nations, Arab nations or whatever, all of them have joined on to the BRICS. All right, which is a direct enemy to the NATO and the EU. All right, basically a direct enemy to the petrodollar. All right, because they come out and said how, you know, all these nations are coming up and trying to get from up under the dollar because the U.S. is trying to use their dollar, which they've been doing for some time now, where they have been using their dollar as a weapon, you know, using the dollar as a weapon, sanctioning these countries and things like that. And these nations are trying to get from up under the petrodollar. I mean, the petrodollar. And you know, it makes sense that them BRIC nations would which they already have joined, them oil-rich nations again, like Saudi Arabia and the other United Arab Immigrant Nations or whatever, the oil-rich nations, because it's like, what, 80% of them oil-rich nations have joined on to the BRICS. So it makes all the sense in the world that they join to corner the oil market, all right, and basically get them to move away from the U.S. dollar, which is already failing anyway. They know they see. The whole world sees this petrodollar system collapsing. All right, and they're all trying to get from up under it. All right, so we done videos, done a bunch of videos on, you know, Project Sandman, or Operation Sandman, which would which the Saudis and the other oil-rich nations would just come out and say that we're not accepting U.S. dollars anymore for our trade of oil, for oil or whatever. All right, you have to get down with this new CBDC system, which ultimately that's what it's going to be. All nations are going to move to this so-called CBDC system, which is a central bank digital currency, and that's code word for the Karagma. All right, but all banking systems will go under that system. All right, and if you look it up, all these BRIC nations are all Ripple partners, which Ripple is a cryptocurrency. All right, which is digital money. All right, which that's also going hand in hand with the Karagma. All right, Because all them digital cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Fedcoin, or whatever, all that is a plan. All that is in order to access those things or be a part of that system, continue to use your currency or whatever in those systems, you're gonna have to have the Karagma. All right, that's why those crypto markets and all that haven't collapsed yet, because completely and utterly collapsed yet, because or made illegal yet, because it's all a part of the system. The whole thing the elites want to accomplish is to get everybody under a central bank digital currency, to get them under a digital currency. Which again, to operate in that digital currency system, you're going to have the Karagma. And again, all them BRIC nations are Ripple partners. So more than likely, they're all going to the CBDC system. Just speaking as a man, it's all going to be under Ripple. All right. And certain other countries will be, under Ripple. Certain other countries will be under, and I'm just speaking as a man, but the way it's looking, the Babylon probably be up under the Fed coin or whatever, or the Emerald coin or whatever. All these nations are all moving towards the CBDC. They all might have different names, but they're all going to be under the same system. All right, and it proves that they're all under the same. They all basically on one accord. All right, which ultimately the Most High is going to, make them come up against each other. But as far as this digital banking system, they're all in agreements with. All right, which is all a part of the plan. But again, we spoke about Operation Sandman. We spoke about Project Sandman and things like that. We've done a lot of videos on that. So, and that breaks basically, which the guy Steve Quill created that newsletter or whatever about Operation Sandman. So yeah, it's in effect, man. The fact that they're joining the CBDC system. All right, more than likely they're gonna make it where you have to have deal in their CBDC system in order to access in order to purchase their resources, which again would kill the petrodollar. All right, because once they say we're operating under this system right now, we're operating under this system, we're not dealing with paper money anymore, that will collapse the petrodollar. All right, and again, we've done constant bunch of videos on it. Once that happens, you're gonna have all these dollars pour back into Babylon, which is going to create hyperinflation. And that's when you're really going to see things turn for the worst here in Babylon the Great. All right, but this is good news. And again, it might not go down like that. The Lord throws a lot of curveballs. There's curveballs. There's a lot of wild cards when it comes to the this paper money system. A lot of things can happen that will cause this paper money system to go away. But that would be those two things, maybe again the collapse of the petrodollar, which would kill it, or some other disease Esau comes out and says it's spreading through through cash and shit like that. This disease is being spread. But one way or the other, this petrodollar system is going to collapse. This physical money system is going to collapse, and there's a strong chance this could be the way it happens. It's Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 19, and they should cast their silver in the streets, and their gold should be removed, and their silver nor their gold should be able to deliver them from the wrath of the Lord Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, and they should not satisfy their soul, neither fill their bowels, because it's a stumbling block for their iniquity. Right? So, like the elders and apostles of Great Millstone have broken down many times. This it's talking about physical cash, physical money, but the physical, it's like a real gold and silver is what it's talking about. But to speed it up in today's time, it's talking about paper currency, fiat currencies, the money that we use now. So the Lord said they're going to cast it in the streets, which we're seeing that in these certain other countries. All their paper, all those other different nations' paper money system has collapsed. And you're seeing, the people in the streets just throwing the money out in the streets because it's worthless. It's not worth anything. All right? And it's all under the same system. So you can't say that well, that's there, that's not here. That's a whatever peso that's collapsed, or the Zimbabwe dollar that's collapsed, or whatever. It's all the same system. It's all that paper money system is all under the same system. So if theirs go, their currency went, America's currency is gonna go too. Eventually. All right. And the Lord said they're gonna cast it in the street because it's gonna be worthless. It's not gonna be worth anything. But toilet paper or something to start a fire with to keep you warm. All right. One more precept and wrap it up. Salaki, got to mention this is in a transit video. I had to take it on the road, getting ready to go to camp. But this Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, and he calls them all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, right? Which we know that's the microchip technology, all right? Verse 17, and no man might buy or sell, say he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So again, we went into this many of times. This means that the paper money system has to go, because the Lord said that unless you have this mark, you're not going to be able to buy and sell. Unless you have the charagma, which is the microchip technology, nobody's going to be able to buy and sell. So the paper money system has to go. And again, it's a strong chance. The way it goes, the Lord gets rid of it, is collapsing this petrodollar. All right, making it again where the U.S. Where the Saudis and the other oil-rich nations no longer accept U.S. currency anymore, the U.S. dollar anymore, all right? Because all of these fiat currencies are failing, but the big domino is when this U.S. dollar fails, all right? And again, it makes sense that all these, the BRIC nations got them to join on to convince ultimately the Saudis to Ishmael to completely and utterly leave off on the petrodollar and basically, get them ultimately to get on board with the CBDC system. All right, and which will collapse the U.S. dollar, because the only thing back in the U.S. dollar is the petrodollar, and because it ain't bombs and tanks anymore. You have to have their oil. You have to, it's still the world reserve currency, but it's on its way out. Because again, the Saudis are accepting other currencies outside of the U.S. dollar. The other oil-rich nations are accepting other currencies outside of the U.S. dollar, but the main thing people use to purchase it still is the U.S. dollar. That's what's keeping it afloat. But them days are coming to an end, as you can see. All right, and it's coming to the end in the very, very near future. All right, the scriptures again. I love the scripture to death. I love all the scriptures to death, but especially this one. But the Lord said that we prophesied not of a time far off. All right, and of course Habakkuk the 2nd chapter, do it, tarry, wait for it will surely come. The destruction of the U.S. dollar and all fiat currencies is coming to an end. Right around the corner. All right, and then the ushering in of the charagma system. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory again unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakakwadash. Double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and safety to you brothers that push this truth and sincerity. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.